according to Adrian Wojnarowski, a couple of all-star players have earned max contracts. We start in Boston, where Jayson Tatum has agreed to a 5-year, $163 million extension with the Celtics. It includes a 30% escalator clause that could turn that guaranteed 163 into $195 million should Tatum make one of the 3 All-NBA teams. The 22-year-old averaged career highs of 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists last season. Celtics went to the Eastern Conference Finals for a second straight year. Also grabbing a max bag, Donovan Mitchell. The Jazz guard getting that same 5-year, $163 million extension. Again, that could balloon to $195 if he reaches All-NBA status. The 24-year-old averaged 24 points a game last season, and then he dropped 2 50-point games during Utah's 7-game series loss to Denver in this year's playoffs. So all total, you have 4 players from the 2017 draft class who have scored more than 3,000 points in their young NBA careers. And now 3 of them have agreed to rookie Supermax extensions with those same squads. The number 1 pick from that year, Markelle Fultz, well, he's no longer with the team that drafted him. Well, with us, though, is the aforementioned Adrian Wojnarowski. And, you know, what was I say to most NBA fans? They look at these deals, they felt like no-brainers for both the player and the squads. But let's start with Mitchell and the reason that he wanted to stay in Utah, and they were doing everything to keep him.
Yeah, there's a great relationship there with Donovan Mitchell, not just that organization, but that community. And he came to them at the draft, right before Gordon Hayward left in free agency. That was a wounded city. And immediately he gave them hope. And they realized very quickly they had a superstar and a player to build around. And now he comes back. You saw what he did in the bubble. And a player that really has blossomed, you've seen as a man. And you see him at the forefront of the social justice movement this summer in the league. And he's had a strong voice with that in that Salt Lake community. And you'll see a lot of that going forward. And he's just the kind of person that new ownership there, Ryan Smith, their front office, that they want to build around.
We often talk about players that are face of the franchise. He's definitely that there in Salt Lake City. All right, but let's go over to Boston. Jayson Tatum, I mean, he really emerged as a star this past season. Granted, they got some young talent in that squad, but that seems to be the building piece for this team going ahead.
Absolutely, especially you've seen some stars come and go from Boston.
True.
Max players, Kyrie Irving, Al Horford, and then Gordon Hayward. But Jayson Tatum is the player now, 5 years, close to $200 million, like Mitchell, with one more All-Star appearance. And you've already seen with Tatum, he is a player. He can be the best player on a championship team. And, you know, for this Celtic organization with such a history of great ones, he's one you imagine up in the rafters someday. It's not easy to get your number up there, but you imagine it up there. And he's now, for them, with Jaylen Brown and, this, young core they have, he's the centerpiece.
Yeah, give a lot of credit to Danny Ainge, not only just drafting Jayson Tatum out of Duke, but realizing that he could be a cornerstone for this organization going forward. Woj, as always, appreciate the time, brother.
Thanks, Mike.
All right.